every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your evening Alabama forecast update, and it's another calm day and night across Alabama. You can see just some scattered clouds. As the sun goes down here, you see the clouds kind of disappear on the visible satellite, but there's definitely some scattered clouds around the state, but it's been a very sunny day for the most part. A few showers in North Georgia, nothing super close to here at this point. As you look further towards the northwest, there's a little bit more activity up in far northwestern Tennessee, over in parts of Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, southern Illinois, western Kentucky. A few showers and thunderstorms. There's been a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in Illinois there, and a couple of reports of some small hail and a few gusty winds, but again, that's not too close at this point. However, there is a severe weather outlook for the rest of the night tonight in that area in the green there. That's a level 1 out of 5 for, again, small hail, maybe some gusty winds. And you see we're not included in that anywhere in Alabama, not too far away from the northwestern corner though. So we do expect a few of those showers, maybe a storm or two to slide into the northwestern part of the state late tonight, overnight. Maybe kind of the western part of the state near the state line with Mississippi as well, but don't expect much out of those outside of maybe a few downpours again. So and anything we can get like that certainly helps because we're getting pretty dry out there, especially in the western part of the state. Beautiful view here from Monte Sano looking towards the city in Huntsville. Just some low clouds there, skewing the sunset a little bit, but you can see some beautiful colors there above that. It's 79 degrees. The dew point's at 58 degrees, so another pretty comfortable night in Huntsville. Ardmore looking beautiful as well. You can see it's at 76 degrees there, and again, just some nice colors there and some low clouds as the sun is dropping below the horizon. And as we move down to the south, Abbeville is you don't see as much of the sun left there, but I think we're pointing kind of in a different direction for one thing as well with this, but it's a little bit warmer. It's 81 degrees there, but still relatively dry. It's 59 degrees for the dew point. So we still continue to have in the eastern and southeastern part of the state some fairly dry conditions and the dry air mass in place. And then as you look over at Spanish Fort, again, generally the further south you get, you're going to have a little bit more sunshine as you lose latitude there a little bit later into the evening. And so beautiful sunset here from Spanish Fort, looking again towards Mobile across the bay here, across the Bayway. It's 84 degrees, and again the dew point is not too bad there. And then getting all the way down to the beach at Gulf Shores, beautiful day on the beach. Hopefully there's some people out there getting to enjoy this with kind of the golden hour here coming towards an end, but it's 84 degrees there and another calm night along the beach. So what we're watching for the rest of tonight and then for this coming week, it's going to be a calm night. Again, a few showers northwest, maybe western edge of the state late tonight. Overnight is when we expect to see a few scattered showers, but nothing significant. We expect to be mostly dry this coming week. Again, can't rule out some scattered showers and a few storms in spots over the next couple of days, but we will generally be dry and most places won't see rain at all. And then we're going to be staying warm. We're going to be kind of staying in a warm pattern. Don't expect a break in that anytime soon, although we do expect to get a little bit more rain maybe as we get into this coming weekend and next week, but we still don't know the extent of that quite yet. We'll be honing that as we move forward. High temperatures that we saw today, we got into the low 90s, upper 80s in many spots, quite a bit of low 90s, and even to the mid 90s in some spots. 94 degrees in Birmingham, 93 in Tuscaloosa. Then only got into the upper 80s in some of the southeastern parts of the state. Auburn at 89 and Troy as well, 88 in Eufaula there. So again, they've started a little bit cooler and not gotten quite as warm in the southeast. Beautiful view from Fairhope here at the pier behind our Skywatcher reports. Jeff Lee and Carbon Hill got to 94 degrees. So again, we got almost into basically the mid-90s in some spots. Tyne Wingo and Corner got to 93. Chris Brooks and Concord got to 91. And then Robert Dockery up in Elkmont got up to 89 degrees. And then Steve Jones and Heflin, one of the cooler spots as far as our Skywatchers on the eastern edge of the state there at 84 degrees. Temperatures right now, we've cooled a little bit. It's 83 degrees in Birmingham, about 10 degrees cooler or so than the high temperature. It's gotten down to 77 in Selma, 76 in Troy. But a lot of places still in the 80s. It's still 84 in Florence and 82 in Hamilton and still 80s down along the coast as well. As far as the lows tonight, we think we'll bottom out in the 60s primarily, low 60s in the southeast, eastern part of the state, more upper 60s in the southwest, kind of mid 60s sort of in the center part of the state. So generally, again, another fairly comfortable morning, but I wouldn't call it super cool, but at least somewhat comfortable as we wake up in the morning. And then for tomorrow, the highs will get back into the 90s again, and then I think places again will get into the upper 80s, but I could certainly see where we get a few ticks higher and get into the mid 90s in some spots tomorrow as well. Looking at the futurecast for tonight into the overnight and tomorrow, you can see again there's those few showers moving through late tonight into the overnight hours, mainly in the northwestern part of the state. Even as we get into tomorrow afternoon, a few scattered little showers possible, even in kind of the central part of the state around the 65 corridor, going down then further south towards Selma and Thomasville. And so again, a few spots could get a few showers with this, but it's not going to be anything significant that's going to make a big dent in the dry conditions that are beginning to set up across the state. As we get into Tuesday afternoon, it looks like a little bit better chance of a few heavier showers with this, but you can see most of that's confined over in Mississippi, but we still could see a few heavier showers, which if we can get a little bit of that at this point, that would definitely be good to get whatever we can get as far as some rain, and then maybe a few lingering into the northern part of the state even Tuesday evening. So if we can get a little bit of rain in here in a few spots, even though it's mostly dry elsewhere, that's still we'll take it. Precipitation outlook again for next week. We'll see a little bit of an uptick in our chances for rain. We're expecting the pattern to start to change a little bit. We'll have a front approaching. We'll have an upper level trough approaching. So we expect to see a little bit better chance of rain. Although when you're seeing above normal rain this time of year, which is a typically dry type of time of year, you're not expecting a ton of rain. And then as we move into that next week, September 22nd through the 28th, pretty close to normal overall as far as rain. So again, that wouldn't be a ton of rain if that verifies there. As far as the temperature outlook, we don't see any break in sort of this warm weather, especially in the afternoons as we get into next week. Still expected to be a little bit above normal for the temperatures. And that next week as well, we tend to stay warm. We're not seeing a big cool change, a big front that's going to usher in a cooler air mass at this point. As far as the tropics are not much change here from the last update. We see still a 70% chance in the red area there. It's shifted a little bit to the north in the last update, but 70% chance of a tropical wave developing or a tropical depression developing over the next week in that area. And so again, it's still well out to sea, and more it's looking like whatever does develop likely will be turning up and curving out to sea and not affecting land. And again, you don't see anything happening in the Caribbean or the Gulf to worry about at this point. So we continue to stay quiet, and especially in the areas that affect us here in Alabama. All right, your 7-day forecast, we're getting into, again, the low 90s generally every day as we come up into this week. Chance of a scattered shower, maybe a storm in a few spots, but we're keeping those probabilities of rain pretty low, just because most places will stay dry on these days. But if you can get a rain shower over you, then good for you. But we'll see those lows down into the 60s, mid 60s for the most part. And as we get into the weekend, probably going to see the heat levels come down just a little bit though, as we have that front starting to approach. We'll see some more cloud cover with that, a little bit more rain chances. So we expect to see the temperatures maybe dial back down just a little bit towards the weekend in the northern part of the state. In South Alabama, pretty similar situation here. Highs in the upper 80s, low 90s, lows in the mid to upper 60s. Small rain chances, and in some ways maybe even smaller than the northern part of the state because we won't be as near to that front that's approaching late in the week. And because of that, as we get into the weekend, may not see much change in the temperatures either in a downward direction because you won't be that close enough to the front quite yet in the southern part of the state. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update. We'll continue to watch things, and we'll have another one coming up later on. And we thank you for watching the Alabama Weather Network.